Hey you guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new here, my name is Carrie. I am a TV host and I live in Kansas City, Missouri. A couple of weeks ago, I introduced you guys to my newest foster. His name is Doogie and he's laying right here in my lap. He is my 7th foster. And at that point, I had only had him for a week or two. So he was still very new to me. I was still getting to know him. He had really only spent 2 weeks at the shelter before he came into my house to foster. So I didn't know him that well. I had only done 2 shifts with him at the shelter. So a couple weeks ago, I decided to foster fail Doogie. Sorry. That's right. He's not going anywhere. He's staying with me. He is my dog, lucky number 7. I wanted to make a whole nother video about this because it's a topic that I really want to discuss with you guys because it is an aspect of fostering that happens. As I told you before, Doogie was my 7th foster, so I had 6 other fosters before I had him. Fostering is such a beautiful thing. It's such a gift. It's been one of the most rewarding things I have had a chance to do in my life. And I get a lot of people who tell me that they don't think they'd be able to do it because they think they would get attached, they would want to keep them all. And I understand that, but fostering is really a mindset. You have to have the correct mindset going into it. And once you kind of adapt that mindset, you realize that not every dog is yours to keep. I want to go back a little bit and talk some about my foster before Doogie. His name was Paco. You guys met him. I had Paco as a foster for 5 months. 5 months, which is a decently long time to have a foster. I contemplated very seriously several times foster failing Paco, but for some reason, there was something in me that knew he wasn't mine. I don't know any other way to put it. I loved him. I still love him. He's so happy. Every time I get pictures from his new family, they send me pictures all the time. It makes me so emotional. He's living his best life and I still love this dog. I was definitely attached to him, but there was something in me when I was like really listening to myself and getting quiet. There was something in me that was saying he wasn't my dog. And on the contrary, with Doogie, I felt like pretty quickly, almost immediately after I made and published that video introducing him to you guys, and then right after that, I made a video about taking him to obedience class. Like literally right after I made that obedience class video, I was like, okay, he's mine. Like I just knew he was my dog. Like I don't know any other way to describe it other than for me, it felt different. When I would get an application in for Paco, I would get really excited. Like I would read the application and I'd be like, oh, that sounds perfect, perfect, perfect. I would get excited for the application. When I got an application for Doogie, I was literally like, why does this person want to adopt my dog? Like I was like defensive. I was like, this is my dog, like paws off my dog. It was just such a different like mindset and I don't know why. I just immediately felt like he was my dog. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice I would give to people who are thinking about fostering or who are concerned that they would become attached and want to keep all of them. Once you shift your mindset to what fostering really is, it's setting up another dog for success in another home that's going to be perfect for them. Once you really shift that mindset, it becomes much easier to discern the dogs that you know you can let go and you know the 1 or 2 that come along that you know you have to keep. Fostering is really a way for us to get a dog out of a shelter to see how they react and how they behave in a home. There's so much about a dog that we cannot see in a shelter environment. It's so stressful. There's just a lot of noise. They're in their kennel a lot. They're not getting that home-like atmosphere. And we can see so much more of their personality and how they would act when they actually get into a home. I know I told this story before, but I will tell it again. Paco was at our shelter for like 6 months. And he was kind of a shithead at the shelter. He was a good dog. He was a good boy. Everyone loved him, but he would tear apart the couch and he would pee inside. Like he would tear apart the bed and then he would take all the sheets off and then he would pee on the sheets that he just ripped off the bed. So he was kind of like a little shithead that when he would go out for his rotation, he would do these naughty things. So when I took him into foster, I was concerned that he was gonna rip apart my couch and pee on everything. The second Paco got into my house, all of those behaviors went away. He was in my house as a foster for 5 months. He never once chewed on anything he wasn't supposed to, and he never once peed in the house. And he was out all the time. When I was gone at work, he he roamed the house freely. Like, he was out freely and never once did any of those things. So that's an example of a behavior that a dog had in a shelter, that once they got into a home, that behavior totally went away. And that's just a minor example of how dogs' personalities and behaviors can change so drastically once they're in an actual home and given that actual attention. It also gives us a chance to get to know that dog better. Before Paco came to my house, we weren't sure if he would be okay with cats. I have a cat, and so he got used to having a cat, and he was able to be adopted out into a home with a cat. He loves his cat siblings now. So before that, we weren't sure if we could take applications for him where there was a cat in the house. So again, these are just little things that we never know about a dog until they get into a home. So we can't advocate for them for their perfect home if we've never seen them in a home. That's really the mindset that you need to have when you go into fostering. You are taking a dog from a shelter to get to know them, to love them, to make them comfortable, and to therefore set them up and advocate for them to move into that perfect home for the rest of their lives. It is such a beautiful, important part of rescue, and I'm so grateful that I have taken the leap and chosen to be a part of it. I'm not saying it's not hard. It is definitely hard. The day that Paco left me, I was down in the dumps. I was happy for him. I was so happy for him because he has the best family. I mean, the best case scenario he went off to. So I was happy, but I was also feeling it. I mean, I came home, curled up in a ball on the couch, and then 2 hours later I went to the shelter and I picked up my next one because I knew there was another dog that needed my help. So yes, it is hard, it can be hard, but once you shift your mindset, you really become better at discerning the dogs that are meant for you and the dogs that are meant to go off and live happily ever after. And you get to, you know, smile and feel good that you were part of that journey for them. When it comes to Doogie, I just knew, honestly, he just felt like my dog. In the few weeks that he's officially been a part of my family, I have fallen even more in love with him. He is such a good dog. He is kind of dopey, kind of awkward. He's a cuddle bug. He's obsessed with me. I'm obsessed with him. He follows me everywhere. He is just mama's little boy. And I feel really, really lucky that I found him and that he gets to be my dog. I'm definitely gonna continue to foster. It's just too rewarding to stop. But while we are settling into the new normal and the new dynamic, we're gonna take a little bit of a break so that everyone can get, you know, acclimated and get used to how things are. But give us a month or two or a couple, we'll see, and we may just foster some puppies. You know, the puppies always go quickly, so any of our puppy fosters, it's always short term. I fostered 3 puppies before and I never had them for more than a week. So something like that, that's very short term. We may look at doing something like that in the future. We'll just have to see what happens. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. I'm so appreciative of each and every one of you. Whatever questions you have about fostering, put them down in the comments below. I would love to answer them. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sending you love wherever you are in the world, and I will see you again very soon in my next video.